It's simple, really. Great stories with a good cup of tea. It's the Tea with Mike show. On this episode of the show, we welcomed Shinji Das to the show. So grab a cup of tea and sit back and enjoy an episode that is all about entrepreneurship and following your dreams.
Yeah, it's always an interesting part of the show because when I'm doing my research, I get to learn new things about something that I love doing, which is obviously drinking tea. So
it's brilliant. That's brilliant, Mike.
Yeah. So obviously you've achieved a lot today, and you do a lot of advocacy work to empower women and youth. So can you tell us in a little bit more detail why this is so important to you?
Yes, 100%. I think that it is very important. I think that I am really focused on, using my voice to empower and motivate women, motivate youth. It is a big part of who I am, and I realize that, there's really a huge market for that, as in it's something that's necessary, and it's something that deserves more attention than it's getting. And so I think that's what really drives me, because sometimes it does feel like an uphill climb, because again, both are very, not even underrepresented, but in majority of the world, very vulnerable populations, so sometimes it does feel like an uphill battle, advocating, fighting, educating them on, whatever, on entrepreneurship or whatever. But I always have to remind myself that they really need it, and I'm, again, very uniquely positioned to relate to them, especially on a global scale. So the U.S. Department of State has invited me to join their keynote speaker program. So I do a lot of work with, again, empowering women, children, to think about, business building, and which I'm so grateful for, that you can join women and youth advocacy with business education, because I think everything that I do, Mike, is from the lens of business. So when you talk about like random empowerment, if you think about it, there are many ways to do that, right? But I would say I focus on this, like, your goals and your career and, go-getter. Like, I'm not sort of, this like woo-woo empowerment. There's a lot of just kind of like vague, things, but I'm very like laser focused. You build a business, use social media. So that's been really cool, empowering and motivating kids and women to build digital businesses. That's something I've done very heavily in Latin America, and then now through our consultations in Africa. Again, two very key demographics for me: Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Three are my areas of focus.
Fantastic. And so you touched on some good points about how you're really trying to give real advice, like real takeaways that people can actually go and implement for yourself, versus having like one or two sessions of like, oh, I'm going to make you happy today. And all that. And then 2 weeks later, after the brief like high dies down, what impact did you have on that person? Like, how did you help them? And the answer is like, you didn't actually help them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's been the biggest complaint, Mike, for motivational speakers, which is why I don't know if you know this, but I was a little hesitant to brand myself as a motivational speaker because of the reputation and because of this thing of like, they're all scam, and, because I mean, a lot of them are, and it's like mostly men and kind of fake, and I mean, it's not a great reputation. It's not a great reputation at all. However, again, because I'm kind of different, the way I thought about it is, what if I brand myself as that, and I'm just the opposite. I just create a new meaning for what it means to be a motivational speaker, and that's kind of what I've done. So people definitely look at me as a motivational speaker, but hopefully I am doing it differently than the majority.
And that's ultimately what's going to help you win and impact the most amount of people and stand out from the practice to do it authentically and organically, and show, and like we talked about earlier, really show that you're a real human being behind the technology that's lived through lots of these different experiences.
Yes, that, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That, and also that, there's some real tangible change occurring. And I think if people can just see that, like yesterday, I had this consultation, go get a consultation, and I told him, I said, write your goals down. Just today, he sent me a picture of his goals. So, I mean, there's real change happening. There's real progress happening. And I have countless examples of this, from go-getters working with me and starting their own businesses, becoming financially free. I mean, just crazy things that, I'm just so happy, because that to me is the real ROI. If I didn't know a speaker and I saw that, okay, when she speaks, these people are just moved and they finished law school in Ghana because she inspired them, like that to me would be a huge thing, is I don't even have to know about her. I just have to know about her impact. And I think that's what I want people to know about me, that I don't need everybody to know about me, but I do want them to see that, like, girls in Ghana are finishing law school literally because of me, because they don't have any other educated role model, inspiration in their immediate family, or friend group, and they're the first, and they follow me on social media, and they're like, well, I don't have them here, but I can just, go on this app, and I have my data, and I have my Wi-Fi, and I see you, and now I'm motivated. So, like, that to me is the most powerful thing, versus like everybody should know who I am, and that kind of stuff, because if you can just know about the impact, then you'll be like, wow, that's something.
Yeah, and then so obviously you've got a very clear message, like you're developing a very strong brand foundational.
Yeah.
So how important is digitally and also specifically social media?
Yeah.
How important is that tool in helping you promote this brand vision and advocacy work?
It's everything, Mike. I mean, it's not something, it's everything. It is the basis of my revenue generator. It is the basis of my, clientele for, again, consultations, who purchase my book, who are also, we do executive coaching. So coaching has two tiers. So my three primary D2C offerings right now is the executive coaching, again, per hour, normal go-getter coaching per hour, again, to help you build your brand on social media, to help you monetize, to go from message to monetization. And then my book, which is my memoir 26, You Love Me. It's called Unapologetically Shinjini. You want to know about me, that's perfect. And then the rest of them are like messaging partnerships, small business partnerships. You're struggling to convert on social media. What do you do? How do you convert? How do you change your messaging? So that's been a huge grind, which I'm really trying to get on, because I have some pretty ambitious goals, I would say, to close some deals like that are much higher figures also. So it's everything. I mean, right now, here's the thing though. I say that, and again, it feels overwhelming, like, oh my God, it's everything. But again, I have to restructure my perspective and realize that this is it. Like, if I can just optimize my presence here, like, I've made it. Like, that, this is it. You know what I mean? This is what gets you on television shows. This is what gets you movies. This is what gets you, I don't know, production gigs, deals, whatever you want to do. If we want to, produce movies in Hollywood, if we want to produce TV shows about go-getters, and hey, by the way, the main character is a female data scientist, because that's the kind of stuff that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a big fan of the movies. I'm a big fan of television. But it's just frustrating to never see like a female Indian data scientist who's, attractive and normal in the center, So just stuff like that. Like, I'm very passionate about bridging that intellectual gap. Because right now there's a lot of conversation around, representation and diversity, and obviously that matters to me a lot. But also, what matters to me is the intellectual diversity. So, are we seeing scientists on screen? Are we seeing physicists on screen? Are we seeing little cartoons for little girls where the girl is like, I want to be a go-getter, I want to be a data scientist? I've never seen that in my life, ever. You see what I'm saying? So just stuff like that. It's everything, Mike. The answer is it's everything, which has been a conversation for me of like, who do I want to follow me? And then the answer is everyone. I literally had this conversation. I have this conversation every day. I was like, who should I, target? Is it this guy, this girl? And then I was like, if you think about it, who is a go-getter? Is someone who has a goal, wants to go get that goal, but is struggling with motivation, is struggling with, they don't really have inspiration, they don't have motivation and inspiration. That's a lot of people, you know? So when you look at my Twitter now, I'm literally targeting just, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of youth, you know, like foreign youth, Nigerian, Latino, Canadian. That's been a huge demographic from a youth, very young. So I would say under even 22. Kids, you know, they're very young, like 20s, under 20s, in their even teens. That has been a huge pull. African girls, Indian girls in India, in Africa, so not Indian American, and then and you know, older men, you know, just kind of who are disoriented with life. So it's everything. It is everything. What we're working on now, which I'm again very passionate about, is once we get these consultations off the ground and we have a very solid foundation for whatever, we've booked 100, we've booked 200, you know, just kind of a real foundation. That's when I want to build our web presence, right, of shinjinidas.com, dasmediagroup.com, and start that chain from social media. That's going to be the next kind of frontier of, you know, hey, how many of my social media audiences are going to the Das Media Group platform? How many of them are filling out the form, you know, where they tell us about their problem and, okay, we're struggling with messaging, how can we help you, da da da. And there's been a lot of conversation from just my peers from Georgia Tech of like, why didn't you do that before, right? And the answer is, it's because I have been building myself as a personal brand first. You know, because day one, I didn't come into this space thinking that I'm going to run an agency. I'm running an agency, because to me, that's actually pretty easy, Mike, right? You get your first few clients, the ball is rolling, it's easy. What I've done is a lot harder, right? Like, I'm a go-getter, I'm here for you, da da da, let me talk to you. Like, it takes a lot more time. But today, I can sell anything. And I think that is the power of like what I've done. It's been very painful, especially the first 3 years, seeing your revenue and being like, oh my God, it's zero. But now, like, I can get consultations booked immediately because they like me, right? They want to work with me. You know, if I give them any rate that I'm giving them, they're like, this is fine. It's fine. I'll do it. I'll work, because I want to learn from you. I want to work from you. And I don't think that would have been possible if I had just like slapped an agency in their face. You know what I mean? Like, hello, I'm an agency, I make websites or whatever. You know, we write messaging. We're a content studio. You know, because there has been a lot of talk of that. But here's the thing: I live, I don't pay rent. You know, I'm still living with family, et cetera, et cetera. So I kind of weighed my bets, because it's very difficult to do both. So either you're going to run an agency, you're going to run a media company, just make money left, right, and center, or you're going to spend time and invest now to build your personal brand to cash out like crazy later.
Right. Yeah.
I had to make a decision, and I went with number 2. So the first 3 years, I mean, I saw, again, enough for me to cover my business expenses, but nothing more than that. But it's been humbling. And then also you're like, do I need more than this? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when you also kind of have those questions, you know, and then the answer is no, you don't. You know, so yeah, I mean, would it have been cool for me to sit here and go, Mike, first 3 years, like 500,000 the first year, 600,000 the second year, 1 million the third year? Sure, it would have been awesome. But I can assure you that I don't think I would have had a personal brand as strong as I have now if I had cashed out like crazy year 1, 2, and 3.
Awesome. So accurate. And then so.
Do you agree? I mean, you're a smart guy. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah. So what I can relate in, I'm trying to build obviously Teawithmike from the ground up. It's, as you know, it's never a perfect journey. You're always learning new things. You're always trying to improve. There's always a current problem that you're trying to fix. But like, the thing that's gonna win at the end of the day is, are you building real relationships with each person in your community that you're building?
Right. But you agree that that takes time, right? And if you just slap some random offerings in their face, it may not be as successful, right? I mean, that's kind of.
Yes. And so when you just said invest now, cash out later, that definitely hit home, because that's also what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think doing it the way that you're doing it, and even the way that I'm doing it, it's more authentic. It's more real. It's more organic, and it just honestly feels better.
Right. Well, and also I think, year 1, 2, and 3, Mike, if you're like, I started at 24, you're 24. I mean, that much money that young, I think it would have been very disorienting. So actually every day I'm very thankful that I had my 30,000 or whatever little I had. Because, right? I mean, if you're like, I'm 24, I'm making $500,000 Canadian dollars, like that's a lot,
That is,
and you may not have the maturity to deal with that at that age, So I'm very thankful. I was able to pay my expenses, and yeah. So I don't know. I think somewhere also just having that practical mindset, because again, I also see a lot of entrepreneurs getting caught up in the, I want the office, I want the this, I want the car, and it's like,
I don't need the office,
like, why? Well, I know I want everybody to see how successful I am, because I've literally been like in a room like this for 3 years, Mike, and it's humbling. You know why? Because it's real. Like I'm doing my thing, I'm making sales, and I'm seeing the money come in now, and it's all real. So I don't need my own office. I don't need a car. Why would I need a car? Like, if you can get to where you want to go, you have your Uber, you have your Lyft, you have this, if you have family, like that's it. Why do so I think some of these questions our generation really needs to, answer. Yeah. Yeah.
So here's a really good one. Ties a few of the different things that we've been speaking about so far. What's one key piece of advice that you would give someone who wants to take the leap from that secure job, as you were talking about earlier, into the world of entrepreneurship?
Totally. So I have a coaching program that I did a while ago, which I think I'm going to bring back now that we're scaling up our coaching, is jump from corporate to, I think it was like jump from corporate to entrepreneurship, something like that, because it really is a jump, and you don't know what's going to, be ahead of you. So I think that the biggest advice that I definitely took is, is this something that you're going to really commit to? And for me, the answer was regardless of the money, regardless of no money, whatever. Basically, the financial impact was irrelevant to me in the beginning, right? Obviously, long term, we all want our venture to be profitable, but I knew that I am so invested in this mission, because I believe very strongly in girls, boys, children, women, men, everybody having access to positive, empowering content. And I don't think it's right that you consume, frankly, shit every single day. I don't think it's morally, actually, psychologically, I don't think it's correct. I don't think it's right. So, and I know that just who I am, I'm a very moral person. I'm a very driven person. I know that that's going to drive me, because I'm going to keep thinking that God wants me to fix this for everyone, that give you the right things to consume, give you the right, mentality, mindset, because there's a lot of toxicity that I'm dealing with every day, Mike, online. And people are like, well, if I can just steal money, and that's what I'm like, no, stealing is not good, just things like that, where I just feel like I'm in this position now of I can really educate and help, and kind of turn you away from the wrong direction, basically, right? So that drives me, and so I think the question then becomes, or the advice becomes, does that drive you? And if the answer is no, then you're going to have a really hard time sticking to it, and I think one of the biggest just confessions that I've heard from my friends, very successful, Georgia Tech, whatever grad, is they told me, they said, I have many ideas, of businesses, but I don't think that I would stick to any of them. And then my response has always been, because there's nothing there keeping you stuck. So you have to ask yourself, that is this, and it's like a relationship, Mike. It's like I'm marrying this career, right, of entrepreneurship. So does he have enough, whatever, substance, whatever, to keep me hooked forever? And if he does, then obviously I'm marrying him, and we're going to be really happy together. And that's what I believe that I've done, But if you are just like, whatever, he wakes up in the morning, he da-da-da, then you're not really in it, You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because even today I woke up and I was like, I'm talking. Literally, I was just gonna do yoga, and then I got your message. I was like, oh my God, we have something else today. So like, every day, it's not fun. It's a lot of work. You have to earn every single dollar, Canadian dollar and American dollar that you earn. It's not particularly glamorous. So either you really like this or you don't. And it's pretty much two choices. So then the question becomes, do you really like him? Do you really like her? Do you really like this? And if the answer is no, then I think you have your answer.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's a very simple piece of advice, but so true.
Because it's everything. It's today, I don't know, you're fundraising. Tomorrow you're this, but it's not just fundraising, Mike. You have to return that stuff, right? So how are you going to make the money up? How are you going to, so I mean, it's all a very long road, and it's a very long journey. And even some of the stories that I've heard, which it's been really humbling, the entrepreneurs who make the 1 million, 2 million the first 3 years, what happens after that? Some people literally go broke. Like year 1, 2, 3, 1 million, 2 million, 3. Year 4, like that's it. It's too fast. Because it was too fast. Year 4, they crashed. So then the question becomes not only that, but how are you going to build something for the long term? Like that lasts. How are you going to build a marriage that lasts? How are you going to build a relationship that lasts? How are you going to build a business that lasts? And I think these are conversations that our generation desperately needs. Because I'm seeing a lot of just like, I'll just do it, I'll just get rich, I'll just da 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 da, and like nothing is that fast, So
yeah.
yeah.
So then obviously, as you alluded to, it's not always easy. 99% of the time, there's problems and things are tough. More than the grass is green and the goblet is golden. So do you have any mentors or people do you turn to when things get tough? Because obviously, again, we alluded to, you've achieved a lot at such a young age.
Yeah. You're going to really laugh at this, but guess who the best mentors that I have are? My go-getters, followers. Because and it's been really amazing. Like in the beginning, I really tried to reach out to, the media this, the media that, but it's just some of them are just so busy. And some of them have been, obnoxious of, oh, I'm so busy. And I was like, you know what? I don't have time for you, whatever. Honestly, the people who have been invaluable to me, Mike, have been, like maybe they were a consultation client, maybe they just really like me. A lot of, and this has been really funny, a lot of older men, executive men, mostly all executive men on Twitter, on Instagram, they've really kind of adopted me as their daughter, like as their online daughter, because literally they'll be like, I'm 55. I'm like literally like father's age, right? Like father and daughter. I'm 56 and they're very open. So I always talk to them for advice. I always talk to, and similarly executive women, who have, again, adopted me as like an online virtual daughter. So that has been a huge thing. And they reply fast. Because the thing with advice is you don't want to be in a situation where you're emailing someone and you never hear back, right? Because I've been in that situation and it just feels unproductive, right? So I'm spending all this time crafting an email to you, writing to you, and you just never get back, so then it becomes a waste of time for me. And not only do I not have a mentor, but now I'm behind because I had all this other stuff to do that I'm just
crafting that email, right?
That I'm not getting done. So instead today, and my advice is, find people online who are responsive, who are, where you not even want to be, but who can help you with what you're trying to solve. And that has been a huge game changer for me, because the executives that I reach out to, Mike, like they are, they're go-getters, like they're constantly on it. I will message them today. In the next 5 minutes, I will get a reply, just because that's who they are. They're very, on it, they're very on it. And that has been a huge thing. Anything from, like, I've asked on sales advice. That's been a big one. And just little things of like, how long do you wait? How tight should your window be? Like, you send out a proposal today, you want to reply in 2 days, and these are like very senior sales leaders, chief product officer, that kind of profile. Invaluable to me. But a lot of them, they're just, my go-getters. They follow me, so.
Also, and then this is, so then what's what's one thing that you would like to be remembered for?
Yeah. Honestly, motivating go-getters, right? Motivating go-getters to go get your goals. And this idea that, she always found a way, I don't think I've ever been like so sad or, oh, this didn't work, or, like she's always moving, always going, has that energy, has that drive. And I think what distinguishes me from most people is that if you notice, I'm always scaling a new trajectory. Like, and this has been my lifelong thing, right? So I started public speaking at 15, day one. Like, this is my first ever competition. Age 16, I became the state champion. Age 17, I became the national champion. So I'm always scaling new heights. Whereas a lot of my friends, educated friends, strong friends, like I'm sensing a little bit of laziness, and I'm sensing a little bit of just kind of comfort of like, I don't need it, it's fine. What I have is fine. And I really think they could learn that from me, of like, nothing is ever fine for me. Like, I'm very grateful. I'm very happy. Every day, Mike, I go to bed saying I'm grateful. But I also know that like today I got a book. I have what I have to book. It's on the wall. So I'm never here sitting going, Mike, everything is great, I can just stop now. Whereas some of my friends already, they're just like, everything is fine. I'm blessed. So I don't have to go that hard. Whereas like me, I'm always going hard. So I think that is a huge inspiration and legacy. And then also, I mean, like I've been very honest with you, I've had a lot of struggles to overcome. Just from networking, I don't know anybody, I don't know anybody who knows anybody. And I'm in an industry where literally every third person, the dad was some photographer to some famous person. Somebody, like there's all like media, that's how we've like been in here. You know what I mean? Like his dad was president of CNN, her mom works at Fox or whatever. And it's like someone like you and I, how do we break through?
Right.
And not, let me be clear, not break through on social media, because actually breaking through on social media is pretty easy, right? Because it's your content, your followers, but it's actually breaking into the mainstream. That's hard. So whether you say television, radio, movies, and just big business, you're doing partnerships with Kellogg's, cereal on their messaging, like shit, like that would be insane for us and for me, but the question then becomes, how do you reach Kellogg's and who do you know? And you see what I'm saying? So there are some real barriers. And then not to mention for the woman angle, I mean, I've had to chase down checks. It is a struggle, because women generally do not ask for, first of all, high amounts of money. Second of all, they're not aggressive about it. So there have been instances where, he's in like, absolutely, I'm signing the proposal. But then I'm like, okay, where's the check? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm mailing it. I'm like, what? So just things like that where I'm like, okay, if the last 5 female keynote speakers had been, at your conference and they charged a lot per person, probably I wouldn't be having to deal with this, because you would already have the precedent of like, woman keynote, like she deserves respect. I got to mail her check out today. You see what I'm saying? But still to this day, I have to I never ask or beg in that way, because that's not my style, but I'm repeatedly having to follow up. And I'm waiting for the day where that is just not there in my life.
Back from the table.
Yeah. Right. Like they respect and love and treasure me enough to be like, absolutely, sign the proposal. Here's the check. Go. Because that's how I roll, Mike. Like I'm not out here waiting 5 months before mailing something, so like that's kind of the respect that I deserve in return. However, I also realize that it's a very deep conditioned mindset of like, it's okay, like she can wait. Why? Because all the women before me have generally waited. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So and so they've fallen into like bad habits.
Right. So actually, it's not about me, because he totally respects me and he signed the proposal on the spot, and it was great. It was a speaking engagement. But I think somewhere I was a little disappointed that it took so long, because someone like us, Mike, where we're self-funded, cash flow matters a lot. Right. And the sooner, whatever, the check, the this, the that, the sooner we have those funds, the better our business runs. I'm not saying that I was broke. I'm not saying that I was at zero and without this check, I'm out, but I'm saying that, especially if it's a big amount, you need that, and I'm very sensitive to that, which is where I've apologized in the past if, like it has been a late payment because of, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff and, whatever, because I understand. You see what I'm saying? So I was a little disappointed with that. But again, the second, it was like 2 installments. The second one was like, yeah, it's already done. Great. But I firmly believe that because I was also the first female speaker at this event ever, like female keynote.
Oh,
So
wow.
so I feel like if the 5 before me had been female and had asked for the kind of money that they should have asked for and been paid that, I would have had much less friction. You see what I'm saying?
But hopefully, as you've mentioned, you can be that role model, which makes it
Right.
easier for
I think so.
5 women.
Which is why I charge what I charge, Mike. I mean, none of my prices for anything I do is cheap. If you will notice, my book is an ebook. It's $26. Memoir at 26. My consult at the normal level is 75 an hour. Executive coaching is 500 an hour because I'm trying to convey a point.
Right.
That I deserve what I deserve. And a lot of women have to be like, that's so high. A book, $26? It should be $2. And I was like, that's why you're in the situation that you're in. You see what I'm saying? Because you constantly charge less. So as a result, if you're a woman who charges more, and it becomes this like difficult thing, but I know that when I get what I know I'm worth, I know that not only does he or she now respect me more, but I know that I have set the foundation for the woman coming after me. But my only concern is she also has to charge a lot because all the women that I'm dealing with now, Mike, in my coaching and my this, I'm very, very scared, very, very scared, very scared to charge what they're worth, very scared to go up. Like I'm so liberal in my price increases because I mean, I have the facts. I'll be like, there's incredible demand. The price is going up. Like it's not like I'm raising the price because I'm bored. So my memoir when we first launched it, June 2018, was $12.99. But we've just had an unprecedented, demand and growth. And I'm like, honestly, it's a memoir at 26. It should be 26. That's what it should be.
Right.
And I haven't had to justify it to anyone because people are still buying it. So I wish I could convey this to women that for most people in my demographic, 13 Canadian dollars to 26 Canadian dollars. No one's gonna die paying 13 more Canadian dollars. My demographic, again, if you target a different demographic, then yes, there's a concern. But in my demographic, it's fine, whatever, So my point is, I'm literally doing the same exact work, Mike. I'm selling the same way, but now I'm making double, right? So why wouldn't I do that? You see what I'm saying? So I think with women, that has been a very honest conversation. And again, I realize completely that there are internal barriers, there's internal shame and all the stuff that I hear about every day. But what I'm trying to tell them is honestly, the ask is so simple. It's like my rate, this is my rate. This is my fee. This is how much the book costs. So it's not this like super complicated, thing of like what I'm worth and my shame and this, it's like be objective, and like this is what I'm worth. Like when you go into a store, it's not like, Mike, you know what, the plate, it depends on what you can afford, 12 Canadian dollars or 50, like there's a price tag,
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not like up for discussion. And honestly, they make it very simple. If you can't afford the price tag, you're not getting it today, right? I mean, it's pretty. So I think that's how I'm trying to operate as I'm moving into kind of more D2C offerings. We're going to hopefully come out with a subscription service soon for motivational texts. And even then, it's like, that this is the price. So, if you can, great. If you can't, what are you going to do? So, but women, I see a lot of struggles around that, a lot. So.
Awesome. And then so obviously you're doing lots of fantastic work as we've obviously been talking about. But what do you like to do on the flip side? And what do you like to do to relax, to repair, and to heal, and to spend some time to yourself?
Yes, I've been thinking about that a lot. Honestly, I am newly becoming kind of an outdoor fan. So I love just going outside, going to a park, sitting there playing. I really want to get into some sports, like in a big way. I want to get into tennis. I already swim. I think those are very healthy hobbies. I love food. I really want to get into cooking. I read, I do music. I honestly, I love just going outside, like shopping, walking into different businesses, talking to, different people. Because I think business from a transaction of like, this is business, I think that becomes work. But, talking to small business owners about, hey, like, what motivated you to start this antique jewelry company? Like, that's fun to me.
That's the real stories. That's the
Yeah,
real.
just stories. Yeah, stories, music, movies. Because you're right. This doesn't consume me anymore in the way that I feel like my work used to consume me before. Because now I'm like chill. Like I'm 28. Like I don't have to be that crazy. Especially now. Like just because I started so young, like that has given me a head start. So I don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have to be like today, everything has to happen today, like, and also I've realized that the lighter you are and the more people like you and you're relatable and you have hobbies, actually the likelihood of them doing business with you is higher. Not lower.
Depth in you're more than just a salesperson.
Yeah. So they'll be like, oh my God, you swim? I swim too. Oh my God, great. That's I'll sign because you swim. Like just stuff like that. So I'm really trying to diversify. I love yoga now. I like yoga. I like podcasts. Yeah, I think my hobbies are kind of chill just because my day to day is so intense that I don't think you're gonna find any of my hobbies to be like skydiving. Like I never see that. I never see that happening. Because my personal life has to be calm and chill and loving and nurturing for me to be this way in my professional life. Both cannot be. Both cannot be that hard. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then so as we come towards the end of the show, I'll flip the script or the table. Is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Yeah. So are you looking to grow your business? You trying to be like a full-time, just, amazing entrepreneur? Like what are your goals right now? That's my question.
So my goals right now, obviously, right now I have a day job. I'm looking at a bit like you that I have low expenses, so I'm trying to save money and start funneling some of it into the Teawithmike show to to help get to where I ultimately want to be. Like I was saying before the show, just bought the web camera. We're just working on a Teawithmike like prototype mug right now. Yeah, so just those sorts of things, and then obviously eventually I want to make it a full-time gig and just impact lots of people in a simple way whilst drinking tea. So
fantastic. That's exciting. I think you should be very excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited, like, and sometimes because obviously sometimes the day-to-day isn't always fun, as you were saying. What motivates me to keep going is when I hear these real life stories of how people nearly died and how they managed to turn it around, and they're doing great things. And what I can relate to and what registers with me is, wow, I've been so fortunate and privileged and lucky about my life that I haven't experienced 98% of that. And so basically, what do I have really to like complain about?
Yeah, that's real.
So it's that humbling element, and yeah.
That's real.
Oh, and then also, like you were saying throughout the show, those messages that you receive from different people, those people that connect with you on these different social media platforms, and then you read that bio, and you're like, well, these are really interesting, like people that have actually, if you look at it on paper, they've achieved way more than I've achieved like so far in life. Why do they want to connect with me? And then you like start talking to them and stuff like that.
Totally. No, it's fascinating. It's humbling. It's fantastic. And I think also, I'm very liberal with advice, especially to young entrepreneurs like yourself or aspiring entrepreneurs. I think one thing that I've really started doing, Mike, is once you start monetizing and you have whatever, you have whatever offerings you have, etc. Always keep so let's say they reject. They're like, oh, I don't have enough money. I don't have this, whatever. I think me before, and I'm saying this almost as a advice. Me before I was like, oh my God, you said you were gonna sign. You don't have money. What the heck? Because it is annoying. Let me also say, right, and which is why I really try to not do that. Like if I say I'm gonna sign something, if I say I'm gonna pay for something, I really want to act on it. I want to try for it because it's important and it matters, and I also have to be a person of my word. But if you see that happening, right, I think the most mature way to handle it in regards to sales, because it's a very, very difficult and long process, is to say something like, you know what, oh, that's so awesome, fantastic, always very, very positive. Awesome, fantastic, thank you so much for the update. Let me know if you want to book. You have resources to do that. We'd love to help you out, whatever, exclamation mark. I think the advice is always ending transactions, whether that's business or personal, on a very high, uplifting, positive, excited note. I think that has been a huge shift for me, because the way I look at it is, even if you don't buy from me today, first of all, I don't know if you're going to buy from me 2 weeks from now, because you totally may, right? But at the end of the day, I also want to convey to you that I am not out here hungry for your business, right? Because I have a lot of other clients and a lot of other opportunities waiting for me, right? So it's this idea of conveying high value, because I think before, when I was trying to, I don't know, just be a little bit like, oh, like what are you doing? Like, you said you were going to sign. This is annoying. That's when you're like, okay, what's the point there? You see what I'm saying? Like, you're just conveying that you really needed them, or you were really depending on them. Whereas in reality, you and I, at least when you get to the point, and I'm already a little bit there, and I want to get even more there, which is I have enough opportunities and things burning, right? To where I'm not dependent on this one thing. You shouldn't act like it, so be very upfront and saying, cool, you're amazing, you're awesome, I really appreciate your update, let me know. Not if your situation changes, because sometimes that to me sounds negative, of like, oh, so what does that mean your situation is? No, but just say something like, oh, that's great, we'd love to help. We'd love to help you. That's it.
Right.
We'd love to help you, smiley face, etc. So I think handling rejection and those business relationships is something that young entrepreneurs are not taught enough about. And I've had to learn myself. I've had to make some mistakes, and now I'm back to where I literally have to tell myself, I'm like, you know what? I don't need them. I really don't.
Right.
Like, it's that realization, because I think we all get so caught up in the no, I need every sale that comes, and then you're like, but it's one. Like, if you walk into some Canadian store and you're like, I'm not gonna buy the plate, the store's not gonna be like, oh my God, Mike said no, right? Like, the store doesn't need you, right? You need the store, actually. Right. So I think behaving in that way is something that we need to do more of as entrepreneurs in our 20s, for sure.
Awesome.
Is just that is my just parting thought to you as you share your goals, which is to build this into a business, right?
Right.
Yeah. Is that a good advice?
No, that's really good advice, because if you get hung up on just like, let's just say, for example, one transaction, you might have missed out on 5 by the amount of time you wasted trying to get them to change their mind.
Correct. 100%. Never convince. I don't think I ever did that, really, but now I really don't do that. Because my thing is, you and I, and you get there too, is like, I'm running a platform, right? You know what I'm about. You understand my message. Like, what do I have to sell to you? I don't have to sell anything. So either you're convinced about whatever, you want to work on your goals, you want to get my book, or you're not. Like, the end, it's pretty simple. It's not like, oh my gosh, like, are you going to have the money or not? Like, it's not, are you going to have it? It's, do you have the money now? Or do you not have the money now? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if I go to a store, I always use this example because it's very humbling. If I walk into any store and I say, you know what, I really want the plate. Can I get it in 2 weeks? They'll say, yeah, you can come back and get it in 2 weeks. You're not going to walk away with it now and pay for it later, or, you know what I mean? So act like that. That is how you need to operate in your own growing brand and in the future business, is if you want to buy it later, you come back. You can always come back. But I'm not giving it to you now. I'm not giving you anything now for free.
Right.
Which is why one thing that I've done is I've switched my D2C model, which I think the website is going to help a lot too, because there's going to be like checkout options on the screen and everything is going to be immediate. So it's like, if you're ready to purchase a consultation, whatever, you do it now, versus like, oh, I don't know. Because I think what's happening now with my manual process is that they're like, I can book in 2 weeks. And then I'm like, putting them down on my list. And then 2 weeks later, they're like, my dog died. And then I'm like, oh my, so it's just kind of a mess, which is why I think that having, everything online and having a checkout process online is when you're ready, you book a consultation, you pay immediately, we're done. It's done.
The immediate process, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that stuff is just crazy. Which is why, long story short, my D2C offerings now, they're all in manual because we're working on the web presence. But I am asking for immediate payment. So if you want to book a consultation, you're ready, you're this, send you the paperwork, sign today, let's get it done. Like, that's very much my motto.
Let's not waste any more time.
Yeah. And I think what you'll also find, Mike, is when you start this journey, like officially as an entrepreneur, someone who's like, I'm going to pay in 4 weeks. They don't have the money or the desire, you know what I mean? So it's very self-selecting, like saying that we expect payment today, and not even today, but like right now. It's very self-selecting. And I've seen this firsthand. Because the people who say no, either they're too scared or they're not ready, in which case, like, why am I trying to work with people who are not scared and not ready and scared? Because the consultation is going to be weird then, right? Because the whole conversation is going to be about them being scared and about their own roadblocks and whatever. And it's like, if you're not in it, why am I here? You see what I'm saying? So do that. When you get there, do that today, right? Here's the website, which is why I'm a big fan of the website. But again, it's just taking us some time to get the web presence up. But once that happens, everything, it's a checkout. Pay through PayPal, pay through whatever. It's all at once. So it's not like I'm going to pay in 2 weeks, but I want it now. But it's just crazy. So
also,
it is a jungle, my friend. When you get into it, it is a jungle. So it's not that simple to kind of go through. So
and then that's what makes it what it is. Some people succeed and some don't, is because it's not easy.
Right. Otherwise, everybody would have succeeded. That's true. That is true. That's a fact.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Of course, thank you. I'm super honored and excited that you wanted me on, and I'm just so excited with all the questions that you asked, and it's been a fun time kind of talking to you, and so thank you for having me.
No problem, guys, and I guess just thanks to everyone that's watching this. And if you like what you see, you can see more stories at teawithmike.com.
Yep, I agree.
It's the Tea with Mike show.